If you find yourself consuming personal development content but not consistently executing, I'm directly challenging you to join me and hundreds of other people to do a dopamine detox this Sunday. In the next few minutes, we're going to discuss everything you need to know to map out that dopamine detox, the exact rules of a dopamine detox, and finally how to guarantee that you actually stick with it and that you don't relapse. And this is episode 3 of the Mental Momentum Dopamine Detox free course here on YouTube. If you haven't already, click the first link in the description and go and watch the rest of this series, where you're going to learn what is a dopamine detox, what are its benefits, is there any science behind it, and if it's right for you. This Sunday. If you're watching this video soon after it's been released, then this Sunday on the 3rd of May, me as well as 1,200 plus other people are going to be doing a dopamine detox on that Sunday. Now, if you're watching this video after the 3rd of May, don't use that as an excuse. Just do the dopamine detox this Sunday. And in fact, there's going to be lots of other people doing it with you. I'll put a link in the description to the dopamine detoxing subreddit, where you're going to find other people that are doing it with you. Even if you're watching it after the video, don't use it as an excuse. And there's probably still going to be people doing it with you every single Sunday. And as you know, there are 2 different parts to the dopamine detox reset. First of all is the hard reset, which is going to take 24 hours, and then the second section is the rewiring process, which is going to go on for a lot longer. And it's that hard reset that we're going to be doing on Sunday, which means as soon as you wake up to the second you go to bed, we're going to be engaging in that dopamine detox. And that 24-hour reset is designed to do exactly what it says in the name. It's meant to reset you from all the negative momentum you've picked up from the past, the negative habits of instant gratification and making progress for a short period of time and then slipping up and consuming too much personal development. This hard reset's going to wipe the slate clean, get rid of that momentum, and it's going to allow you to build momentum from scratch. Well, there are 3 different difficulty levels for the dopamine detox, and those difficulty levels are going to decide the rules that you're going to follow to get this reset going. So there's beginner, there's intermediate, and there's time theorist. In the beginner difficulty, for the 24-hour period, you can't use your phone, computer, gaming, porn or masturbation, drugs, or eat stimulating food, which means you can drink coffee or tea, you can talk with other people, you can read books, listen to music, eat food in general as long as it's not stimulating, you can journal, you can go on walks, and you can exercise. So if you're going to select this mode, this is starting off easy, this is starting off slow. Now, for a lot of people, this is still going to be difficult. No phone, no computer, no gaming. These are the things that we tend to default to when we don't know what else to do. So removing those things is going to be a challenge, and don't let the name beginner fool you. Even if you just decide to do beginner, then fair enough, fair play to you. You're still doing a lot more than other people, and there's going to be a whole lot of benefit in having that kind of a hard reset, in giving your brain the space to think and to process these emotions instead of always going into distraction and not letting yourself actually think. So the beginner, although it says beginner, it's still going to be challenging, and there's still going to be a whole lot of benefits. For the intermediate difficulty, you can't do any of the things that you can do in the beginner, and as well as that, you can't drink coffee or tea, you can't talk with people, and you can't read books, and you can't listen to music. So this is just stepping it up to the next level. This is where I imagine most of you will want to go, because here you're getting rid of 99% of the really high stimulating activities, the activities that just flood your brain with dopamine without you having to do much. This is the level where real results start to come in. You're really going to start to notice a change. You're really going to feel different as you're going through that process, and it's going to be tough. There's going to be periods where your brain's running wild, you're overthinking. Your brain wants to do everything it can to distract you, to just pull you back into bad habits, to go back into instant gratification, because that's the way your brain is wired. But in that list that I've just read out for you for the intermediate difficulty, what it's going to allow you to do is it's still going to allow your brain space to improve. It's still going to allow you the time and the mental energy to really reassess the situation you're in. Notice that journaling is still on that list. You can do that. And walking is still on that list. You can do that. And those 2 activities are activities, whilst some people may argue they do elicit dopamine, remember, we're not fasting from dopamine. We're fasting from the negative instant gratification activities that flood your brain with so much dopamine without you having to to do much. But walking or journaling, both of those things are great, and it's going to really allow your brain the space to think, but more importantly, the capacity to reevaluate and create a plan moving forwards from there. Later on in the video, I'll go over some journaling prompts that you can decide to do if you're going to select the intermediate mode. And if you do decide to go for the time theorist mode, the advanced mode, where you really are in charge of your time and you recognize that time is limited and you want to better use every single second of your time, you're really pushing it from good to great, then you're going to want to select the time theorist mode, which is that you can't do anything that was in the intermediate mode, but as well as that, you can't eat any food, so you're on a fast, you can't journal, you can't go on walks, and you can't even exercise. So this is the point where you're doing nothing. I mean, you're sitting in a room, not doing anything. This is going to be difficult because you're going to be so bored. Your brain is going to be looking for anything to do. You can't even exercise, you can't go on walks. You've literally got to sit in the room, and the only thing you can do pretty much is meditate. So I'd be careful. If you're wanting to select this stage but you have really bad problems with this and you're worried you're not going to be able to stick with it, then the formula that you've got to use when trying to decide whether to go with beginner, intermediate or time theorist mode is you want to select the thing that is just difficult that it gets you excited, but not difficult in so much that you're worrying that you're not going to be able to do it. So it's better to walk than it is to run and trip up. It's better to go slowly, start with the beginner mode, and then once you've done that, move up to the intermediate mode. Then once you've done that, move up to the advanced mode. Then go straight for the advanced mode, and halfway through the day you decide to give up. Because if you do decide to give up, no matter what mode you decide to do, you're now providing your brain with a ridiculous amount of evidence that you are addicted to dopamine and that you can't be disciplined. It's why it's so important for you to pick a difficulty mode that you're 100% confident that you're going to stick with. And that's why later on in the video we're going to provide you with tools to increase the likelihood that you stick with it. And the point is, there's not going to be any neurochemical changes or neurological changes within those 24 hours. What we're doing is we're showing our brain, we're providing evidence that we can do the things that we want to do, and more importantly, we're giving our brain space to think, to really reset. And moving forwards from here, that's when it's going to get difficult and we can make transformation and progress from there. There's not going to be any neurochemical change in the 24 hours, but there's going to be psychological change. And if there's anything in this list that I haven't mentioned, say VR, I haven't specifically mentioned it, but just use your better judgment. What we're doing is we're avoiding activities that provide our brain with very, stimulating amounts of dopamine without us having to do much. So avoid those things at all costs. And like I said, once you've done this dopamine detox, go to the subreddit and you can actually assign yourself with a flare that just proves to yourself and proves to other people that you can do it, and it's going to select the difficulty that you decided to do. This is actually, it's funny, this is going to provide your brain with dopamine when you assign that flare to yourself. But this is actually a good thing, because we want to provide ourselves with dopamine or a reward straight after we do something good. We're trying to avoid getting dopamine after doing something bad, but by all means go to the subreddit and assign yourself with a flare to let yourself and everybody else know that you were able to complete the dopamine detox at the difficulty that you decided to do. And what can you do? Well, the point is you can't do much. If you've selected the intermediate mode, then there is a few things that you can do to make it slightly easier for yourself. And I'd almost argue that although you're not doing a true dopamine detox, the benefits of having the space to think on a walk or to journal is going to far outweigh the consequences of getting that little bit of dopamine, because again, at least you're getting dopamine from doing something good. So what can you do? Well, go out on a walk and try and be curious. Go out and pick a leaf. When was the last time you examined a leaf or truly marveled at the beauty of your surroundings wherever you are? Go on a walk, a normal walk that you try to take, but be present and try and see everything with a new light, because we go through our lives so often in autopilot, walking the same paths, but never truly appreciating their splendor. I went on holiday to Malta a few weeks ago, probably a couple months ago now, and we went to this beautiful place and there was people there that was giving us a tour. And they weren't blown away by how magnificent and how splendid the scenery were, whereas myself, my girlfriend and the other tourists there were absolutely blown away. And the point of this is that when we're surrounded by things on a regular basis, our brain stops to appreciate them. It stops appreciating them. It just takes them for granted. So truly try and avoid this fact if you're going out on a walk. Be marveled, be a child, run around with curiosity, marveling at the splendor of the planet that we're in. That's how we can reignite the passion that we have for curiosity. As well as that, you can do journaling. 3 journaling prompts that I advise you to do as you're journaling is, first of all, you can write down, who am I? Try and get introspective. Who is the person you are now? What character traits do you display? What habits do you have, good habits or bad habits? How may other people talk about you? Try and view yourself from a third-party point of view and really analyze the character that you're portraying, the person that you're being on a day-to-day basis. Once you've done that, try and figure out, who do you want to become? What is your ideal character? What is the sage? So sage in Stoicism is the ideal person you want to become. Nobody's a sage. The sage is an ideal of perfection. But who do you want to become? What kind of a person could achieve the things that you want to achieve with ease? Take the time to flesh that out and then figure out, what can I be doing on a day-to-day basis to increase the likelihood that I transform from who I am now to who I want to become. This way we're focusing on identity level change. We're not focused on processes or systems. We're focused on becoming the kind of person that deserves the things that you want to get and that deserves the life that you want to get. Because I figured out that the best way to become successful is to become the kind of person that deserves success. And the best way to become fulfilled is to become the kind of person that deserves fulfillment. So do that, make the identity level change, and really brainstorm practical ways that you can increase the likelihood that you act like that person doing all of that journaling. You can also come to terms with your own thoughts. There's a quote that says, man's biggest problems comes from its inability to sit in a room by itself alone. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be sitting and we're going to be bored. So take the time to analyze the thoughts. Are they positive thoughts? Are they negative thoughts? How do you feel about yourself? And just come to terms with thinking. Because most of the time we think, but we're not aware of the fact that we're thinking. We are in our brain. We are viewing the brain or viewing the world through our thoughts. But we can actually get one level of awareness above that, and we can start to observe our thoughts and become aware of the thoughts that are racing through our minds. Also, you can exercise. Assuming you're doing the beginner or intermediate mode, you can exercise and be honest with yourself. Have you been exercising in a way that you are happy with recently? Or has this whole, situation that's been going on where we're stuck inside stopped us from being able to exercise in the way that we want to? So just do some body weight exercises and try and get back in the habit of exercising. All of these things that you can do during the dopamine detox. When it comes to guaranteeing the fact that you're going to successfully complete the dopamine detox and that there's a 0% chance that you relapse or fail and start doing dopamine-inducing activities, first of all, go into it with the mindset that you're going to succeed 100%. Don't go into it with the mindset of, oh yeah, I'll try it out and see what happens. You've got to be committed if you want to succeed. But I've got 2 practical tips to give you. First of all, you can get an accountability partner. You can find one on the subreddit. Now yes, you're not going to be messaging them during the dopamine detox, but knowing that there's going to be someone that you have to report back to is going to far increase the likelihood that you do succeed. As human beings, we are social beings. We care what people think about us. We care about our view and our status. So just by letting one person know that you're going to do this, you're going to increase the likelihood that you succeed. The second thing to do is to change your environment to make it impossible to relapse and far easier to actually do the successful things. This is the most important tip by far. If you're trying to do a dopamine detox and your phone's in your pocket and your laptop's on the side or plugged in or your computer's ready to boot up, you're pretty much guaranteed gonna fail. Because otherwise we're relying on willpower. We're constantly trying to resist the urge to do the things that we know we should be doing, and willpower's finite. By the end of the day, it's going to get super difficult. So change your environment in a way to make the rules easier to follow. For example, you can give your phone, your laptop, your computer, and all other things in that list to somebody else and tell them, don't give this to me until the day after. If you're in quarantine and you can't give your phone or something to someone else, what you can do is you can change the password on your laptop and your phone to a random long string of characters and numbers and letters that you're not going to remember. Then you can go to your email and schedule an email to be sent to you in 24 hours time after the Sunday's complete with the password in it. So now you've got a phone and a laptop that you can't remember the password to go on, and it's going to be impossible for you to get to it unless you check your sent emails or you wait for the time to come. But you can't check your sent emails because your phone's locked. Get creative. Find ways for each of the things on the list of rules for whatever difficulty that you're doing to try and make it more difficult for you to actually complete that thing. For example, you can text all of your friends and say, just letting you know, I'm not going to be replying to texts, and if you see me, then I'm going to be doing a dopamine detox, so don't think I'm weird if I don't talk to you. Just make it easier for you. Increase the likelihood for you to succeed instead of just leaving it down to chance. And in the next video in this playlist, we're going to be talking about how to build up after the dopamine detox. Because as I'm said, those 24 hours aren't going to make a significant amount of change. It's a mental signifier that change is going to happen. And in the rest of this playlist, we're going to dictate to you exactly how to make that change. How to make this a long-term change so that you don't just slip back into old habits after a few weeks. So if you want to see those, then like the video, subscribe and comment, and just engage so that the YouTube algorithm knows that you want to see more of these types of videos, so that when it comes out, it's free and it's on your homepage, ready for you to go through and really improve your life, building up after the dopamine detox. I'll see you then. So that's it. I wish you the best of luck, my friend.